The poor have hands and feet and eyes, flesh and a feeling mind. They breathe the breath of mortal sighs, they are of humankind. They weep such tears as others shed, and now and then they smile, for sweet to them is that poor bread they win with honest toil. The poor men have their wedding day, and children climb their knee. They have not many friends, for they are in such misery. They sell their youth, their skill, their pains, for hire in hill and glen. The very blood within their veins, it flows for other men. They should have roofs to call their own, when they grow old and bent, meek houses built of dark grey stone, worn labour's monument. There should they dwell, beneath the thatch, with threshold calm and free. No stranger's hand should lift the latch, to mark their poverty. Fast by the church those walls would stand, her aisles in youth they trod. They have no home in all the land, like that old house of God. There the sacrament was shed, that gave them heavenly birth, and lifted up the poor man's head, with princes of the earth. There in the chancellor's voice of praise, their simple vows were poured, and angels looked with equal gaze on Lazarus and his Lord. There too at last they calmly sleep, where hallowed blossoms bloom, and eyes as fond and faithful weep, as o'er the rich man's tomb. They told me of an ancient home, beside our churchyard wall, where roses round the porch would roam, and gentle jasmines fall. There dwelt an old man, worn and blind, poor and of lowliest birth. He seemed the last of all his kind, he had no friend on earth. Men saw him till his eyes grew dim, at morn and evening tide, passed mid the graves with tottering limb to this grey chancel side. There knelt he down and meekly prayed the prayers his youth had known, which by the old apostle made in tongues of ancient tone. At matin time, at evening hour, he bent with reverent knees. The dial carved upon the tower was not more true than he. This lasted till the blindness fell in shadows round his bed, and on those walls he loved so well, he looked, and they were fled. Then would he watch and fondly turn, if feet of men were there, to tell them how his soul would yearn for the old place of prayer. And some would lead him on to stand, whilst fast their tears would fall, until he felt beneath his hand the long accustomed wall. Then joy in those dim eyes would melt, faith found the former tone, his heart within his bosom felt the touch of every stone. He died, he slept beneath the dew, in his own grassy mound. The corpse within the coffin knew that calm, that holy ground. I know not why, but when they tell of houses far and wide, where troops of poor men go to dwell in chambers side by side, I dream of that old cottage door with garlands overgrown, and wish the children of the poor had flowers to call their own. And when they vaunt that in these walls they have their worship day, when the stone signal coldly calls the prisoned poor to pray, I think upon that ancient home beside the churchyard wall, where roses round the porch would roam, and gentle jasmines fall. I see the old man of my lay, his grey head bowed and bare. He kneels by one dear wall to pray, the sunlight in his hair. Well, they may strive as wise men will, to work with wit and gold. I think my old dear Cornwall still was happier of old. Oh, for the poor man's church again, with one roof over all, where the true hearts of Cornish men might beat beside the wall. The altars where in holier days our fathers were forgiven, who went with meek and faithful ways through the old aisles to heaven.